everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you this awesome recipe for this veggie filled or hidden veggie, if that's your thing, pasta sauce. You can use it on spaghetti, lasagna, ratatouille, anything that needs a good red tomato pasta sauce. It is absolutely filled with vegetables, antioxidants, minerals, healthy fats, and everything that you can think of. So basically you start out with a lot of oil. Like, that is the key to a good spaghetti recipe, is a lot of oil. Now this was a little much for my taste, but it ended up working out just fine. So basically you start off with a lot of oil, one medium to large zucchini. If you have small zucchinis, I would do two. If you have a bigger zucchini, because they lose their flavor the bigger they get, I'd still use the big zucchini. And then you're going to add in one chopped onion. Don't worry about how good they look or how bad they look. They don't need to be perfect. They are going to be blended up at the end of this, so you don't have to worry about what these look like. And you don't have to worry about any type of texture. It's the same texture you would get if you were making regular pasta sauce. And then you add in 2 stalks of celery. If you like celery, you can add in the entire bunch of it. I do not prefer it, so I only added in 2 stalks. 1 red pepper gets added in next. And like I said earlier, you don't have to worry about how pretty these look. They will get blended up at the end. Next, you're going to add in 4 medium to big size carrots. Carrots are essential for this recipe. They are what's going to give the sauce its sweetness and help cut the acidity of the tomatoes, because carrots are naturally sweet, and when you cook them, it really helps that sweetness come out. That's why a lot of times you'll see carrots cooked in like a brown sugar sauce if they're cooked. And you want to make sure and stir this constantly. Or not constantly, but like every once a minute or so that way the veggies don't burn. And then once you've gotten the majority of the veggies in there, you want to cover them with a lid. I didn't have a big lid at this point. I couldn't find it, so I just used a small one, and it worked out just fine. So just use whatever type of lid you have on hand. Next up, you are going to add an entire 8-ounce container of mushrooms. Like I said earlier, you don't have to worry about the texture because this is going to be blended up, so you won't have to be like chewing your sauce. So just, you can quarter them, have them, slice them up, mince them. It's up to you. And then, like I said, you want to keep stirring this so that way the veggies don't burn. And now that you've got the mushrooms in, you won't have to worry about moisture levels at all, because mushrooms have a lot of water content in them. So you won't have to worry so much about it burning after you put the mushrooms in. And then you want to put in an entire head of garlic. You don't have to mince it. You don't have to slice it. Just put it in whole and make sure it gets some time in the heat as well. And that'll bring out the garlicky goodness that you want in a sauce. For an added protein kick, you can also add some chickpeas or white beans or silken tofu. I prefer chickpeas just because I like the taste of them over silken tofu. And then, like I said, until these are soft, you want to mix them probably once or twice a minute. And you can go in and check to make sure they're soft with a spoon, like I'm doing here. These weren't quite ready enough. You can see I'm having to use a little bit of force to split the carrot in half. Same thing with the bell pepper and the celery. Once they are nice and soft, you will know because you can go in with a spoon and just press it down and it will just easily cut in half. You don't want them to be mush because then that will affect the taste of the sauce. After your veggies are to your desired tenderness, you're going to add in 1 12-ounce can of tomato paste. And a really easy hack for getting it all out of the can is just opening it on both sides and using the bottom portion to push all of the tomato paste out of the can. It's a really, really neat hack that I learned on TikTok, and I use it every time I need to use tomato paste. It'll also help with recycling of the can. Getting all that tomato paste off, you won't have to rinse it out as much. And then you want to cover your veggies in the tomato paste, not tomato puree. I guess they're the same thing. and really cover them. Make sure every bit is covered in the tomato sauce, or tomato paste, excuse me. And then you're going to add in 4 to 5 cups of water. Now you want to start with 4 and you want to see how it looks. It should look like this. It should be basically a very thick vegetable soup. And at this point you can season it. I seasoned mine with a lot of onion powder and a lot of salt. You will need a lot of both, but you don't have to be very heavy-handed with it in the beginning if it freaks you out to add a bunch to it, because you can always add more, but you can't take away. And once it's to this texture and consistency, like I said earlier, like a thick vegetable soup, you want to turn the heat off and let it cool down just a little bit, so that way when you blend it, you're not breaking or bending or warping your blender. And here we go. This is the final sauce. Like I said, it is nice and smooth. There's no chunks or clumps in it. It is just a very smooth, very thick tomato sauce. And I ended up being able to get approximately 4 jars out of this one recipe. I saved 3 for a later use, and we ended up having spaghetti this night. So I kept a little bit in the pan for when I added the noodles. And when you do add your pasta to it, you want to make sure and add a little bit of that pasta water in and mix it up, so that way the sauce clings to the noodles a lot easier. You won't have to have that sauce just fall off your noodles. Now these are whole wheat noodles, so as you can see, I'm kind of struggling to get the noodles to absorb the sauce. That's what I've always had a problem with when it comes to whole wheat noodles. I found they're not as absorbent as like a white pasta sauce, or a white pasta noodle, not sauce, noodle. And that is it. That is the completed spaghetti sauce, or I guess hidden veggie, loaded veggie, tomato sauce, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, you can use this in any recipe that you need a tomato sauce in, and it will be perfect every time. It is so, so good. My family loved it. We ended up having multiple bowls of it this night. It was so, so, so good. And you can freeze the leftovers, so you're not having to worry about eating it all within a couple days. Just make sure and add a little bit of headspace to the top of the jar, so when it expands, it doesn't shatter. I added a little bit of cashew parmesan to my second plate, as you can see in this picture, and it is just so good. I hope you guys try it. If you do, comment down below and let me know what you thought of it, and I hope you stick around for another video. Thank you. Bye-bye.